cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. Now in 4K HD video if you're on YouTube. Yeah, okay. Hopefully. If this doesn't go well, it will be audio only. But what we're hoping for is a beautiful 4K video on YouTube.
We're trying.
We are really doing our best here. So this is an exciting moment for us. We've been wanting to add video to the podcast for a very, very long time. And it's been a lot of different things, a lot of different excuses for us to not do it. But we've finally done it. And most importantly, hopefully, it becomes the norm. So we're going to try to actually make ourselves presentable at every recording. Because normally we're like in PJs. Like, it's normally rough.
I am in pajamas.
Are you in pajamas right now?
Yeah, this is what I wear to sleep normally.
Well, it just looks like nice, comfy clothes. I guess that's what pajamas are.
That's also like 90% of my wardrobe.
Fair enough.
So people get to see my wardrobe now.
To be fair, you and I both, honestly, I have some very nice graphic tees, like this awesome Captain Hook's cruise shirt that I got when I went on a Disney cruise. Well, actually, my wife ordered it before we went on the Disney cruise.
So you can wear it to the cruise.
Right. So I had this nice cruise shirt it's Disney, and I'm on the crew. And anyway, so you can see our wonderful selection of graphic tees. And the craziest part, people can actually see what we look like now.
Yes.
So I had it was funny. I had a large amount of people that I had nobody come up to me at all day 0 and day 1 of the YCS, except for like other creators and people I had met before.
Yeah, people who knew us already.
Right. But day 2, I posted a picture of myself on Twitter. I was like, hey, come find me and say hey, because I had sleeves that I wanted to give away because I was giving away tons of Dragon Shield sleeves. Yeah. So it was funny. It wasn't until I posted the picture that people started coming up to me saying, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
So it's going to be kind of interesting now for us to actually have this. It's like a new step in our relationship with our audience, right?
Yeah, because now they can match a face to the voice.
Right. So.
And you can see me gesture.
Oh, dude. Being able to gesture is so nice. But I won't be able to pick my nose while we record anymore. It won't be the same.
Yeah.
So, with that said, let's go ahead and get on into some Patriot names. So, a huge thank you to Cam Yang, Top Cuts, Trouble Sonny, and Caleb, Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, Marshawn Jones, Zyphers, Yeet Defeat, AD, Anthony Alila, Confirmed, Konami has a shame kink, Dank Nugs, Earth Machine Best Deck, Epi, Has Anyone Actually Read Toy Vendor, HGH Cyber, I Am McLincoln, Jarrett Helton, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pig, Rudolph, Sonny sold my runic tip, burned my crops, and poisoned my water supply. Okay, I would just like to say, I said this on the Patreon episode, and I'll say it again for the greater world to hear. I saved you money.
Yeah, man, just go use the money that you got from selling the tip, buy a new one, and you'll still have money.
No. The price we agreed upon is now higher than which was like 80 or 85% of TCG is now higher than the TCG price.
Oh.
And I sold it at Niagara, and because when I say I got a really good deal, I mean I got an amazing deal. So I sold it at Niagara, and then I messaged the person after because I forgot that I had committed it because I was caught up in the excitement of the really good deal.
Oh.
And I didn't take advantage of anybody. I don't want to go into names or details because I don't want the person to get in trouble because it was at one of the vendor booths, but I made friends with one of the vendors, and I had like 3 cards that I wanted that were like $90 or $95, and they looked through my stuff. They picked out like 8 cards, and they gave me like 110% retail value for my trade-ins.
Jesus, that's a really good deal.
Yeah, so I'm sorry that I sold your runic tip, but I literally could not pass that deal up.
Fair.
So Then we have a Sprite Farter, Super Ancient Deep CD's Nuts King Coelacanth. By the way, if anybody has copies of that card, I need some. Tier Limit's Having Floodgate in Your Mouth. Unbanned number 95 Konami. Understanding and reading are two different things. Virtually Savior's World. You still play Dragon Link. Will cry me a river while I'm dragging these nuts across your face. Zingis Khan, Aaron Gardner, Asami, Ashless Chaps.
Ashless Chaps.
Listen, we try to keep this podcast PG, and that is really toeing the line. But I was already reading it when I was already committed. Brandon Potter, Dragon Maidenless Behavior. It is funny though. Jerry Beans, man. King Henry, Old Man Red, Pin Code 143, Ray Powell, Shockmaster Did Nothing Wrong, Slaking It Up, Stop Crying About Call by Its Balance, and VFD's Nuts. That one just feels like Old Faithful at this point. Oh man. Well, I gotta say, the Patriot Names have slowly become one of my favorite things about the podcast. And I really think it's become a favorite thing of a lot of people on the podcast.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So, what we're going to talk about today is some sponsors first. We're going to talk about sponsors. So, of course, we want to thank Dragon Shield for sponsoring the podcast. For those that are unaware, Dragon Shield is one of the largest TCG manufacturers and accessory manufacturers in the world. You can get this awesome hand shuffling sound when you use their sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
It's great stuff. And, of course, they also make deck boxes, play mats, and things of that like. Again, if you came up to me at YCS Niagara, then you definitely probably got some free sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
And they were probably an unreleased color that is only on pre-order at the moment. So, I can't say enough how much I have all my stuff sleeved in Dragon Shield. Mm-hmm. And I did before they started sending me free product.
Oh, yeah, no. It wasn't a case if they came to us, so then we switched from what we were using to Dragon Shield. We were using Dragon Shield before.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say, I'm not going to sit here and praise Dragon Shield and say that they've never had a fault or whatever.
Oh, no, because I remember back in the day, they were not very good.
And I'm not even going to say that they weren't very good, but they weren't as good as other sleeves on the market. But as other sleeves have fallen off for various reasons, Dragon Shield has upped their quality by an enormous amount. And I have other sleeves that I like too, but Dragon Shields have become my preferred sleeve. Not because... I hate to say it like this, because it's not the entirety. I do like their product. They make a good product, and they make a very consistent product. I've only had one bad cut sleeve, generally. But that's kind of why I like them, is because Dragon Shields are available at almost every...
retailer.
At almost every retailer possible. Outside of the big ones like Walmart and Target.
Yeah.
They're available at pretty much every local game store anywhere. And I like that because it is a certain amount of, they have Dragon Shield whites at my local game store, but I'm going to a tournament at another store and I need more sleeves. Well, I can find Dragon Shield whites there too.
Yeah. What was that brand of sleeves that we got at that one regional? I got green.
Those are,
yeah, because I think you still have like the packaging. It wasn't Katanas. Hypermat.
The Hypermat minis.
Yeah, I prefer Dragon Shield.
I like the Hypermat minis a lot. I really do. And for me, it's kind of a toss-up, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, for me, no. I did not like them.
Oh, really?
Yep, I did not like them. They were good for the tournament, and then after that, I had to replace them. I was like, ugh, this is awful already.
I will say I find that Dragon Shield sleeves do last longer than the Hypermat minis did. But my big thing on the Hypermat minis versus the Dragon Shields is what I said earlier. I think that in terms of quality of product, they're pretty close to each other. But Dragon Shield's availability everywhere.
Oh yeah, beats out everything.
Right, because I don't want to switch. I want to stick with the same brand of sleeves. That way I have a consistency. And I don't want to, if I need an extra white sleeve at a regional on the fly, I can walk up to any of the vendors and get Dragon Shield white.
Yeah, they'll have it.
Right. Dragon Shield is the most ubiquitous accessory manufacturer. Okay. Now that we've gone on this long tangent about Dragon Shield,
yeah.
that was unexpected. That was unplanned, unprompted. It does happen. Use our affiliate link down below if you decide to buy Dragon Shield products from their website. And I would say also they have colors and designs on their website that you can't really find in LGS's, just because a local game store can't stock 30 to 40 different colors. So anyway,
But you know who can? The manufacturer.
right. And we also have a TCG player affiliate link to buy cards at it would be just like the same normal prices. You just click on the link and then shop, and it supports us at no extra cost to you. And obviously we have the patron. So oh my God, we're 11 minutes into the podcast.
Yeah, we went on a long tangent about Dragon Shield. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I promise that was not just meant to be an advertisement. We just got carried away. We like the product. Anyway, we wanted to talk about YCS Niagara. So there's a lot to break down and a lot to unpack about YCS Niagara. First and foremost is my experience, and a little later we'll get into the meta implications of YCS Niagara and talk about how YCS Niagara will impact the metagame as a whole. Because there are some elements and overtones that are going to carry forward into the future unless this episode comes out Friday and we got a ban list Thursday, in which case, never mind, disregard all the metagame stuff. It's not relevant anymore, hopefully, because they changed up the meta so much.
Oh my God. Hopefully, yeah, because there's like one or two cards where I'm like, this should not exist.
Well, Niagara also gives us a good indicator of what the true problems are in the format right now. But I want to talk about my experience at YCS Niagara, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I get off work on Thursday around between 6:30 and 7. I come home, I pack my bags, I get in the car, and I drive 4-ish hours from my house to New Orleans. And I stopped about a quarter of the way to pick up some cards from a friend and hang out for a little bit because I don't see them super duper often, and then go. So I get to New Orleans around like 12:30. I go up to my friend's apartment. He lets me in. My brain is racing because I'm excited for all the travel. And I end up not falling asleep until 1:30.
Oh, no.
We woke up at 4 and go catch our flight at the New Orleans airport. And our flight leaves New Orleans at 5:40. We get there about 4:30, 4:35. I go in, check my bag, get my boarding pass, go sit at the gate for like 30 minutes, and go through. Dude, security at the New Orleans airport, I felt like it was a nightmare when I was there, but it was a breeze. I would find out Monday morning. So I go through security, I get on the plane. It's my first actual, and people are gonna think this is the craziest thing ever. That was actually my first plane ride as an adult.
I've never been on a plane.
Okay, see,
Just for reference, I've never been on a plane.
Yeah, this is my first plane ride as an adult, and it was so nice. From New Orleans to Baltimore, we only had a half capacity flight.
Oh my God.
I had a whole row to myself. It was awesome. Got my nice window seat. I could put my bag in the seat beside me. Heaven. I'm like, dude, no wonder people like flying. This is great. This is heaven. So I take the window seat. We fly up into the air. And by the way, it's really kind of like, it's almost like being on a roller coaster. It's kind of weird because there's so many G's pushing against you as that plane tries to build up its momentum to get off the ground. It's really crazy. And I know people that fly a lot are like, plebe, what do you mean? It's obvious. It's a plane. But like for me, who hasn't experienced this since like I went on one trip in the 7th grade where we flew because I grew up from a fairly lower income background. And man, it's such a different experience than what you would think. So we land in Baltimore, and because we flew Southwest, every landing is like, right? Like every landing feels like the landing gear broke off. Because that's Southwest, apparently.
You hear the thugunk, and then somebody out the window seat just sees the wheel. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, that's how it felt. And I thought that was just like plane landings at first. And I texted my brother-in-law, who flies like 2 to 3 times a week. He flies constantly for work. And he was like, "Oh, you flew Southwest?" No, that's just Southwest. He bounces between American, Southwest, and Delta.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, that's just Southwest. That's just how they are."
Fair enough.
So, Baltimore to Buffalo, there's no plane change, which is sweet because we were able to move ourselves and all of our stuff up to the front rows of the plane because we were already on the plane. So it's like you have your priority boarders, sure, but I'm even more priority because I'm already on the plane.
Yeah, exactly. If you're already on the plane, you have the highest priority that there is.
Exactly. Well, I move up to the front of the plane, get my nice cushy seat by the window, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be nice. The flight from Baltimore to Buffalo was 100% capacity.
Oh, no.
I'm squeezed in with people I don't know, and I'm like, this is horrible. It's like riding public transit. It's just more expensive. So we land in Buffalo, and this is Sonny fact. I have arthritis in my left hip, and it's just from wear and tear. I have a very, very physical job. So I have arthritis in my left hip. So I sitting down for like 4 hours like that. My hip was actually locked up and I was like limping off the plane up the ramp. And so I limp all the way through the airport, and I swear the airline has lost my luggage. I have my checked bag and my backpack with all my cards in it because I was not dumb enough to put all of my cards in my checked bag.
Yeah.
So I've got my backpack, I've got my duffel bag, and my duffel bag has like a couple of changes of clothes in case they lost my luggage because I'm paranoid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I've never flown. I don't know what's going on. So I go over to the Southwest office, and there's my bag sitting outside the office. I have no idea why it didn't come down the little, the little baggage claim
luggage thing.
Yeah,
luggage go round.
Yeah, the baggage carousel. That's actually what it's called, carousel.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Don't quote me on that.
Quote me. It's fun. So my bag's not on the luggage carousel. I go to the Southwest office. It's at the front. I'm like, why is it out here? Guy's like, I don't know. They just brought it out before all the other luggage came down. All right, cool, dude. So I take my bag, I go outside, and God bless his soul, who pulls up but the one and only Darth Nash 6. For those that don't know him, his name is James. He is a Yugi tuber. He has about 1,100 subscribers. And if everybody that listens to this podcast right now just pause for 2 seconds, go to Darth Nash 6 on YouTube. He makes amazing content, and he puts an enormous amount of effort and time and care and love into his videos. Go give that man your subscription. He deserves it. He picked me up from the airport, drove me around Buffalo and Niagara all weekend, and just because he's cool and a friend, and brought me back to the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning. He is an absolute angel.
Chad. I was going to say Chad.
He's a Chad angel. He's all of it. Go subscribe to his channel. Seriously, if everybody that's listening goes and subscribes, we will just about double his subscribers.
Please do.
That is not enough. So tell your friends to also go subscribe. So, James picks me up from the airport. We drive from there to a local pub in Buffalo. I didn't know. So I knew Buffalo was famous for its wings. I didn't know that's where they invented them.
Ooh.
Yes, chicken wings were invented in Buffalo. There's a whole story behind it. You can go look it up. But apparently some dude wanted fried chicken desperately, and the owner, all he had was scraps. So he fried up the scraps, and the chicken wing was invented.
It's a similar story to how the potato chip was invented.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. I'm not going in that story
It's
here.
like the meme where it's like you have Mr. Incredible and like the haunted Mr. Incredible, and it's like those who know, those who don't know.
It's not really haunted either. It's more like those who know, Mr. Incredible, but kind of just normal. Those who don't know, same thing. It's not like this life-changing factoid. It's just kind of...
What are you talking about? Every new fact is life-changing. Some are just very minusculely changing your life.
It's not really.
So I go to we get these amazing buffalo wings at a pub that I do not remember the name of. It wasn't Union Pub. For those that know, it wasn't Union Pub. It was a different one right across from the baseball stadium in Buffalo. Whatever, it was good. 20 minutes later, we're at the border, cross the border. Woo, I'm in Canada for the first time. And then like 20 minutes later, we're at our Airbnb.
Got attacked by beavers.
Moose. It was a moose.
And oh yeah, it was a moose.
We have beavers here.
Yeah.
It was a moose.
I think we have moose in the U.S.
Definitely not in Louisiana.
No, I almost said Louisiana. I was like, wait, no.
There's definitely no moose in Louisiana unless they're in a zoo.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think they have them in zoos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. They couldn't survive down here. The mosquitoes are bigger than them.
Pretty much.
Fun fact: a common predator of moose are killer whales.
I thought that was seals.
No. Like killer seals are also common. Common prey for killer whales.
I think killer whales live in the south mostly, huh?
No, they're up there too, and they eat meat and they eat moose.
Everybody that's listening to this, if Caleb is wrong, I need you to let him know in the comments as spitefully as you can, but also respectfully. Anyway.
Is it killer whales or is it? No, it's killer whales, I think. There's a aquatic predator. Now you got me second guessing, but there is an aquatic predator where a major prey animal for them are moose.
Anyway.
It's wild.
That's why they call it the wilderness.
Yeah.
So we get to the Airbnb, check in, it's nice. We go to the venue, and this is where things go off the rails. I check in at the venue. It is nice. I check in at the Airbnb, it's nice enough. I check in at the venue, and the venue is like a block from our Airbnb.
Ooh, you just walk it.
It was a 5-minute walk. We walked there and back every day.
Hey, saves on a bunch of gas.
Yes. Also, when you checked in at the event so when you pre-regged and checked in, you got a little coin at other YCSs. They would do play mats or dice.
Yeah, for here was coins.
Yes,
I saw it all over Twitter.
Okay, you talk about what the different coins you saw were while I get mine out.
Okay, I saw Dark Magician. I saw Dark Magician Girl, Blue Eyes, Karibo, a lot of scapegoat ones. From what I saw, that's all the ones I really saw.
I literally saw 0 scapegoat ones, and I think I saw them all.
Okay, I remember seeing a couple of them, but
so I got the worst one in my opinion. GGYGO got a really cool one. So apparently there's silver ones and there's these chase ones that are gold.
Yeah.
And I got a silver one of Happy Lover. I don't know those in 4K if you can see this. It's fine, I guess.
If you don't want it, I'll take it.
I tried all weekend to pick one up for you, and I literally could not.
Nah, it's cool.
It's nice though. It's metal. It's got some weight to it.
Hey, there's always next YCS.
And there's a ton of detail on it. Yeah, yes. I'm hoping that they're still doing them at the next YCS, honestly.
That would be unfortunate if they didn't.
Well, they did it at Rio, and they did it at Niagara, so I'm thinking that they're going to do it at multiple.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yes. So I got my coin checked in.
Happy Lover is actually a good one, in my opinion.
Yes. James, who pre-registered, also went to go check in and found out that he did not submit his deck list. He thought he did, but he didn't. And they had already closed deck list registration. So he was no longer registered for the YCS. So basically, you cannot register, or at this particular YCS, you couldn't register in person at all. They hit their cap. So the cap was like 820.
That's
or
tiny.
830.
That's real tiny. But I think that might be a venue-related thing.
So it was definitely a venue-related thing. Excuse me. But they had never had a YCS get to the 800 mark in Canada before.
Yeah.
All the other Niagara Falls and Toronto YCSs were always a lot smaller, down to around somewhere 500 to most of them 5 to 700, 750 at most.
Yeah.
So this was the largest Yu-Gi-Oh event in Canadian history.
Whew.
Yes, it was. That's what they announced anyway at the beginning. Largest Yu-Gi-Oh event in Canadian history.
I mean, people want to go to events now.
Yes. So we get to the point where they fill everything up and they say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We have a ton of people that want to register here. We cannot accommodate everybody. What they should have done, in my opinion, was try to rent out the adjacent hall,
Yeah.
but they did not do that. So at YCS Dusseldorf, in a couple of 2017, 2018, they had, I think it was Dusseldorf. It was definitely a German. It was definitely a city in Germany. They had YCS Dusseldorf 1 and YCS Dusseldorf 2 on the same weekend.
Which was just a second YCS the next room over.
Yes, because they hit event capacity. So instead of doing something like that and figuring out a way to increase event capacity, they just capped it and said, whenever we're done with pre-registration, after last call for pre-reg has been done, then however many spots we have left over from people that did not show up and did not give us notice, those spots will be raffled away. And everybody got a raffle ticket and waited. And at 6:30 or 6:45 that evening. So keep in mind, we got there at 1:30.
Yep. 7 hours later. No, 5 hours later.
Yeah, 5 or 6 hours later.
I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not good at math.
Yeah. So 5 or 6 hours later, everybody at this point, Skyhawk has finally arrived. He is having troubles with his transit. So Giant Skyhawk gets there, he gets his ticket, and they do the drawing, and James made it in off of the raffle.
Woo!
And it was amazing. Skyhawk unfortunately did not make it in, but
Aw.
he played a lot of side events that weekend.
I mean, yeah, you're already there, you might as well.
His redemption arc is coming.
Ooh.
So we eat pizza at this little pizza place that's very close by. It was very good. And we go back, we do some play testing, and we get ready, and we go to the event for day 1 of YCS Niagara. The final count on people that have entered is 837, and they turned away about 220-ish.
Yeah, so they would have had well over 1,000.
Yes, it would have been 1,000 and some change if they hadn't been turning people away. But they had to turn people away because the event hall that we were in wasn't big enough to accommodate everybody. The event hall that we were in was literally capped out at 1,000 people, and they needed to have
fire marshals were no more than 1,000 people in the venue.
Right, and they have to account for staff, they have to account for vendors,
Judges.
Right, and so by the time you account for all that plus table space and chairs, they were out of space. So, day 1 starts. I've been making deals. I've been making pickups. I can show off some of those things that I picked up later. But we make some deals. We make some pickups. I picked up CR Desires, a CR Scapegoat.
They're so nice.
Yeah, I picked up a playset of Ulti Zenmaides, an Ulti Barredo, Ulti Vayu the Emblem of Honor, Ulti Armor Master, Ulti Plague Spreader. I got a lot of really cool cards over the weekend.
That Judgment.
Yeah, I got an MRD Judgment, and every single card I just listed is unlim, but they're still very nice to look at. So day 1 starts, and we're going to take a short ad break. We, of course, want to thank our sponsor, ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. They are your one-stop shop for all of your card game needs. ETB has a wide variety and selection of singles and sealed product for the games that you love, as well as, of course, they have sleeves, binders, deck boxes, playmats, etc. And, of course, you can also find all of your D&D figurines and Warhammer and things like that and the paint for them, dice, all of that, as well as rooms dedicated for those things. So if you're interested, check them out. They have a link down below. Also, we want to thank another sponsor, Millennium Threads. Millennium Threads does some amazing work. They make hoodies, t-shirts, hats, all of that. And you can get that's custom embroidery. And it's
nice.
Yes. And I saw, by the way, I have a hoodie and you have a zip-up jacket done by Millennium Threads.
We should wear that next time.
Yes.
For the people who can see.
Yes. They look very good. But I think, to me, that the t-shirts are very underrated. I saw a lot of jackets and hoodies and t-shirts. I saw a lot of t-shirts, hats, things like that. If you saw any of that, you would say, wow, that's amazing. I have to have it. So be sure to check out Millennium Threads on Etsy. Their link is down below. And if you want 10% off, you can use the code TOPCUT10 to get 10% off of your order. And again, that's all custom embroidered stuff. So, okay, so round 1 starts, and I play against Sprite.
All right.
I don't realize quite my situation at first, because we introduce ourselves and the guy says that it's his first time playing at an event in 9 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, a returning player, hasn't played since YCS Toronto 2013.
Coming out with the big guns.
Well, I mean, a player that hasn't played in 9 years, I'm thinking, oh, let's go.
No.
So I beat him game 1, destroy him. I mean, literally destroyed him. Game 2, he beats me. And I'm like, all right, he's doing pretty good. By the way, he's on Sprite Frog. I don't know if I said that, but...
You said he was on Sprite, so obviously he's got the frogs.
Not necessarily, but we'll get into that later. So he beats me game 2, and I noticed something very key. He didn't misplay once in either game. I'm like...
So he knows what he's doing.
I'm like, oh, this dude good. And like, when they were calling out all the bounty duels and stuff, he's like, man, I thought I heard my name. And I was like, maybe. I guess it's theoretically possible. No way though, right? Way. So, game 3, he starts doing, or game 3, I went first. He had... my opening hand, game 3, is Rivalry of Warlords, Infinite Impermanence, Rivalry of Warlords, Ash Blossom, and Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous. What do you notice about that hand?
You have 2 rivalries, and...
No way to start my combo.
Yeah, like you can...
No, I literally cannot do anything combo.
Why? Because it doesn't Ecclesia get you into your swoo stuff?
Okay, Ecclesia summon Moyi.
You have nothing to reveal!
Ecclesia summon Taya.
Nothing to banish!
You see my issue.
Oh no!
Okay, I have nothing.
No.
So I set my 3 traps because I'm like, what's dude gonna do? Who's siding in back row removal against
Sword Soul?
Sword Soul? So he goes,
Did he see the rivalry games 1 or 2?
Maybe.
If he saw them, then if I'm playing Sprite and I see rivalry games 1 or game 1,
He may have seen it game 2.
okay, game 2, I'm siding in back row removal.
Right. Okay. So
That's me personally, though.
yeah, I mean that makes sense. So he goes standby, main, battle,
Oh no!
evenly, and I keep 1 rivalry. And then he goes
Because it's just the best card against Sprite.
normal summon swap frog. I go, Ash, do you have a response? He says, nope. I go chain link 3 rivalry. Because I don't want to like do an open game state and then him just special and go.
Exactly.
So I do chain link 3 rivalry.
Which is the correct thing to do there.
Yes. And he tries to swing for 1,000. I'm like, you can't evenly. He's like, yeah. So he passes. Top deck. Oh, I'm sorry. And after I ashed and rivalried, he does triple tactics talent to rip the last card from my hand.
So there goes your Ecclesia.
Right. So I have a rivalry and literally nothing else. Draw for turn, long yawn.
Oh Oh, so you can't even normal summon and run over the frog, which you probably wouldn't even. You would just normal summon it and... Actually, I probably said it. What's the defense on Taya and Mogi?
Bigger than Swap Frog.
Yeah, just said it.
Yeah, but it's a long yawn, so it's level 6. Mm-hmm. So...
I was saying, if it would have been one of the other two, that was what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what do then?
Pass.
Pass. So what does he do? Top deck Harpy's Feather Duster.
Ah, no!
And the rest of his hand is Sprite, Starter, Jet, and Blue.
Full gas.
Yeah, so he killed me. Found out after the game, he is in fact a bounty duelist.
Oh.
And not only is he a bounty duelist, he has 5 YCS tops.
And then dropped out of the game in 2013.
And this is his first event back, but his high-level friends that have wanted him to get back into the game for a while lent him the entire Sprite deck, and he has been practicing for 2 weeks. Which is enough for a player of that caliber to understand the deck and all the lines.
Yeah, and also understand... Because, like, that's right at Dragon Ruler format. So...
Yes, he topped during Dragon Ruler format.
Okay, yeah. So he does have a basic understanding of how modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Works compared to pre-Dragon Ruler format.
Yeah, sure. But he didn't know what any of my cards did, game 1.
Yeah, so he had to read them all.
Yeah, which is fine. But I threw him off, and then that's why I blew him out game 1. But by game 2, he knew most of my cards did.
Yeah.
By game 3, he really knew it. Well, he didn't need to know what they did because I didn't have a playable chance.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but
anyway,
he understood at that point.
Right. So I'm on my back foot. To start everything off, I'm on my back foot.
Yeah.
Round 2, I play against a Sprite player. He wasn't, I'm not going to say he was bad, but I did feel like I had a higher skill level than he did. I say that respectfully.
It's probably a combination of that, but also...
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 6 or a 7, and he's probably like a 5.
Yeah. But then, like, also, you've been playing Sword Soul for longer than Sprite's been out?
Yeah.
For longer than Sprite's been announced.
Yes.
So, you also have a lot more... You're also having a lot more experience with your deck.
Yes.
So, obviously, that's going to be a major key role.
Well, not
in
really.
that.
Like, the best players know their deck inside and out as well as I know Sword Soul.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Or
for somebody that's not as good, it does make an impact.
Yeah.
So, he made a couple of misplays. I think game 1, I guess he didn't realize that my situation was totally unplayable, and he just scooped it up.
Oh, we take those.
Right. Game 2, he beat me, actually, because he literally just had the God hand. And then game 3, I pretty soundly controlled most of that game, and I won.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Round 3, I played against Danger Tier Limit with like a small Sprite package, which is what most of the Danger Tier Limit decks are doing now.
Oh.
Game 1, he went board, and I nibbed him. And then I OTK'd him. Game 2, he went board, and then I nibbed him. And then I went board, and right before I made my last Baron to OTK him,
He nibbed you?
he nibbed me.
Ooh.
Actually, I take that back. He had also done a Havness, and the Havness hit, and then he made Kaleido Heart, and then Kaleido Heart hit, and then he made no wait, not Kaleido Heart. He made the
Kit Kalos.
Kit Kalos. He makes Kit Kalos, it hits, or maybe I don't know. He had Kit Kalos and Kaleido Heart on board with the nib token, and I have 5 monsters all the way across my board, and then he nibs me. The nib token has 16,000 attack.
Jesus. Oh my god.
And like 12,000 defense. So he summons it in token and defense on my board. He has no cards in hand, 1 set card. I have no cards in hand. I have 1 card in hand, nothing else on my board but the token. I set Rivalry of Warlords and I passed. He draws for turn, standby, main. He normal summons one of his tier limits. I think he normal summons like Havness or something, maybe. I don't know. He normal summons something weird. And I flip Rivalry. And I guess he didn't summon. I don't know. I flip Rivalry. He's locked into nib. He switches nib to defense. I run it over. The next turn, he sets 1. I run it over. And he must have top decked the back row, because I think he did the back row, set the back row. I ran over the nib. And then he drew for turn, sets one, I run it over. Then he draws for turn, activates Nessie, searches because he's got nothing else in hand, searches Tsuchinoko, sets Tsuchinoko, I run it over, draw for turn, it's dead, and then I kill him. So a 16,000 nib token ended his career.
Yeah. You live by the nib, you die by the nib. Apparently, Jesus.
Yes. Round 4, I played against Eldritch Tearlament. So this deck is actually kind of cool because game 1, he literally just played the Eldritch engine. And because all he played was the Eldritch engine, I out-resourced him by just... as soon as I saw Eldritch, I slowed everything down to a crawl. I didn't overcommit to anything. And I just took a couple of turns to chip away and beat him in because I don't want to overcommit into like a torrential, solemn warnings, things like that. So game 2, I side heavy for Eldritch. So I side in my Twisters, my Duster, my Reboot, all that. Well, my opening hand has Twin Twister and Harpy's Feather Duster.
Oh, Jesus.
And one hand trap, which was like a DD Crow, I think, and then combo. So he starts by activating the Tier Limit field spell. I'm like,
uh-oh.
I didn't see any Tier Limits last game. This is new. So he does a bunch of Tier Limit stuff. And then he sets 4 and passes. With like not a great end board. He's like really relying on his back row to carry him. So I draw for turn and then I Duster him for 5.
Yeah, as you do.
Right, because he got the field spell and 4 set back row.
Yeah.
So I Duster him for 5. He's got 2 monsters on his field, and I OTK him.
Yeah. As you do.
Yeah.
Only thing that made that any better is if he also had the red reboot for if he activated a judgment.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm going into round 5, and I am 3-1. Round 5, I played against Live Twin Sprite.
Ooh.
This guy was a really good player. I only won because he misplayed, though.
Oh?
Game 1, he Scythe locked me, and I didn't have a response because he activated Sanctum and summoned Scythe, and that was just it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Game 2, I make my board. I'm able to keep him off of his plays, and I get him on the next turn. And game 3 was weird. He went full board. I say full board. He had the elf and the other one, the Kiss a Kill, the blue one. I think it's called it's Live Twins Kiss a Kill. The Link 1 or the Link 2 that lets you summon back.
Yeah.
And when you summon back, the one that you summon back lets you pop a card, which is how they popped the Scythe.
Yeah.
But he never went Dagda, and I'm like, okay, well, either he hard drew one of Scythe, or he's got Sanctum back there. And he's probably running 3 Sanctum. So my opening hand is Duster Droplet combo. So I activate Harpy's Feather Duster. He doesn't do anything in response. So then I do Droplet, send Duster, and another one for my hand to negate his 2 monsters on board. Because my logic here is either he has the Scythe in the back row, which is less likely mathematically, or he has Sanctum in the back row, which is more likely. So if he chains Sanctum to my Duster, then I'll hold my Droplet
to hit the Scythe.
Right, but he didn't. So I said, well, I may as well go ahead and Droplet right here. That way he can't chain his Kiss a Kill to pop Scythe. So I Droplet the Kiss a Kill and the Elf away, and he proceeds to Scythe lock me. Because I Dustered his Scythe.
I mean, you made a calculated decision there. You made a calculated risk.
I took a calculated risk. The problem is I'm not great at math.
Well, no, because that's still... Because, like, if you...
it checks out, but it's still just
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah. It's one of those cases of you can be the world's greatest mathematician and still lose.
Yeah.
In that situation.
So he Scythe locks me, and it puts me in a weird position. What do? I Special Ecclesia, normal Mo Yi, no effect on Mo Yi, and I kill his elf and his Kiss a Kill monster.
Yeah.
And then I pass to him. He has nothing left. He has 1 in hand, nothing on field.
He's got Scythe on field, huh?
And so, except for Scythe. He has Scythe on field.
Yeah. Which is still kind of a big deal because he's 2,200.
Right. He activates his card in hand. I have a hand trap in my hand to stop it. And my hand is like long yawn something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I essentially go, he passes it back to me, and I normal Taya. Oh,
Okay.
he prosperity. He prosperitied for 6 and whiffed on the entire thing.
Oh no!
Yeah, so he grabs Called by the Grave and then sets 2 and passes. I remember now. And he went Scythe Run Over Ecclesia. So
Which is the smart thing to do there.
I don't think it is, because he grabbed Called by off Prosperity and he can Call by Ecclesia.
Oh, that's a good point.
In fact, he may have even cleared both my monsters, because my recollection of it is that I drew for turn. It was Ecclesia, or I had Ecclesia Longyan in hand. I drew for turn. It was a second Longyan, and I normal summon Taya, activate effect. He imperms it, and then I do Longyan, activate Longyan, and he did not Call by the Longyan in my graveyard
To negate the one that you're activating in your hand.
right, and he lets it resolve.
Interesting.
And I asked him, and it literally ended the game immediately.
Yeah.
Literally. Because I used Taya and the token to make Chi banish Blackout, and Longyan make Baron. Burn 12, pop. And he was already at like 59-50.
So that's boom, boom for game.
Right. So it was weird. I don't know, or maybe he was at 59-50, and then Longyan burned him to 47-50, and then boom, boom game.
Yeah.
My thing is, I asked him after the duel why. He said, honestly, I was tilted from a play in the previous game and I missed it.
Oh.
So
It happens. It sucks.
does.
It sucks when it does, but it happens.
So, and then round 6, I played against Sprite again. This guy, his name is Luca. He finished 50th in Swiss at the YCS. And he is a very, very good player. So game 1, he went first. He went full board. He has Toad, Elf, and Dupe Frog. My only play is a really weird play. And I messed up the interaction here entirely because I had Ash Nib in hand.
Ooh.
And I didn't realize that if you Ash the Gigantic, then it doesn't do the restriction.
Yeah. It has to special to restrict.
No, it doesn't.
No, I thought it did.
It's just that Ash negates the whole effect of the card. Or that effect. It negates that whole effect.
And it's all part of the same effect. Okay.
Right. So I ashed the Jet early to keep him from getting the follow-up in Starter or the removal in Smashers. So because I didn't want the extra interruption. And he said, yeah, that's cool. And then went full board. And my Nib was dead in hand. So that's misplay 1. I'm tilted from that because I didn't know the ruling. And because in my head, I was trying to think about what the ruling was. And my own inexperience cost me right there. It probably cost me the game, to be honest with you. So then it goes to my turn. And because of the way his board is set up, my only play in my mind is Special Ecclesia, Normal Moyi, make Draco Berserker. And then I attack into the Dupe Frog. And the goal is to kill Dupe Frog and then attack into the Toad and kill the Toad. I did not realize that 2 things about Draco Berserker's effect. One, his effect to gain attack is both mandatory, and the other thing, it happens in the damage step. So,
Okay.
when I killed Dupe Frog, his mandatory effect triggered, and then he used his Toad to negate that.
And destroy and then set the Draco Berserker.
I thought I could chain Draco Berserker because I didn't realize it was in the damage step.
Yeah.
It is in the damage step. You cannot chain Draco Berserker right there.
To essentially save himself.
Right, exactly.
And because of Dupe Frog, you can't attack the Toad first.
Right. It was a terrible situation, and I misplayed it by even going through that line.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I regretted it. I was super duper turbo tilted. And we went into game 2, and game 2, he just played better than me. It's just that simple.
Again, it happens. It happens.
He was a better player. It's just that simple. And then, so I'm 4-2 at this point. Round 7, I play against Danger Tier Limit Sprite Adventure.
Jesus, all the packages.
Yes. Game 1, I have no hand traps, no interruptions. He goes full board, and I have nothing to do. Game 2, and he already knows what I'm playing because we've been talking outside throughout the event.
Oh, and he just so happens to...
He just so happened to be my opponent. So he already knows what I'm playing. So I try to play into the board, can't do it. It's just game. Game 2, I go first, and it finally happens. I draw the God combo.
Woo! Let's do it.
Special Adhara, Link 1, make Monk. Effect, Heavenly Dragon Circle the Monk away, summon Shithana. At this point, he's like, huh? What you doing? Normal Mo Yi, activate effect, reveal, summon token, make Chi Xiao, search the revive spell, activate Long Yan, summon Long, summon token, make Baron. And then he's like, okay, but what is the Shithana for? Revive spell back the Mo Yi, make Dweller. My board is Dweller, Chi Xiao, Baron.
And Mo Yi's water, isn't he?
Yes.
Which
so
means
is Shithana.
Yeah. So, well, it doesn't really matter as long as he has a water material.
And Shithana's water, and well, so is Mo Yi. But
yeah. So like even after you
he's
detach, he's big.
So,
and if you summon another,
crazy.
And even if you like just normal summon another Mo Yi and he gets Empire and you can't do anything else with it, the Mo Yi's big too.
Yeah, my hand was crazy. It was really, really good.
That's the sauce of the day.
So I pass turn, draw phase, standby phase, activate Dweller. Got him. Chain Droplet for 3, my whole career away. Normal summon Swap Frog, go combo, kill me.
That's all. Yeah, I mean, because that's all he needs is normal summon Swap Frog, so he doesn't need those other 3 cards.
Yeah.
But he had the Droplet.
Yeah. To be fair, he discarded Nib off of Droplet, and he could have nibbed me a lot sooner, but I searched a revive spell, which messed up his plans for Nib, so he just held it and waited for Droplet.
Well,
he already had Droplet in hand.
Yeah, but like not only that, you also had Adhara engrave, and you would still have the token, so if you have other Tennies in your hand, you can use them. I have no idea what the each individual step was, so I have no idea how many cards you had in your hand at points where he could have nibbed you there.
I had 1 left in my hand at the very end.
So it's very
Best
possible.
place to nib, I would have had 1 left in hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would have had 2 left in hand.
Okay, yeah. So he was thinking you'll have the token, and then if you have an Ashuna or something, you can just shrug and still go.
Right, I guess.
Pump out a board of some kind. So I think that was one of the big things was because Sword Soul in particular can just kind of shrug at a Nibiru token and keep going to make something.
Yeah, the Nibiru token is actually gonna pogger sometimes because it's just like, oh, a non-effect monster on my field, sweet. Let's do some Tenyi stuff. Anyway, at the end of the day, I had a great time in the main event. My only issue with the main event itself was there were some really, really long gaps between rounds. And the event size, those 2 things frustrated me. But overall, I really do have nothing but positive things to say about the TO staff for the most part. Like I said, I'm not going to lie, those 2 things were frustrating, especially like a 40-minute wait between rounds. That was really upsetting. But it did get better as the day went on. That was not a consistent thing. And the judge staff really did a great job. I can't say enough about the judge staff. From what I could tell, they were handling situations appropriately, professionally, and efficiently.
That's all we can ask for.
Right. You can't ask for more. You know, that's perfect. That's what you want. I didn't hear about any crazy bad rulings. I didn't hear about any egregious policy errors. The judge staff did a great job. And
love to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. And the best thing of the weekend was me, Shiggies, and Giant Skyhawk doing a 3v3 on day 2 while she is in full Water Enchantress cosplay.
I saw pictures on Twitter. It was awesome. I wish I could have been there.
Our team name, the Brave Package. Well, I just went on an hour-long rant about I have 5 more rants. I'm going to talk about my trip back. Okay. Well, we'll do meta implications next episode. Honestly, it doesn't make a ton of sense to do meta implications this episode.
Because we might get banless tomorrow.
Exactly. So, realistically, by the way, there won't be a banless reaction episode the day of the ban list anymore.
Unless it's on Saturday for some reason.
It'll never be on Saturday or Sunday.
Exactly.
So, no more banless reactions day of.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Circumstances, honestly, have changed, and it just doesn't work anymore for us with our work schedules.
Yeah.
So, we leave the event day 2. We go out to eat with Crush Cards and Raphael Nevin and Paolo. Some other people were there. Some
super cool people.
Definitely. There were some people that Crush Cards knew were there. Tom Bach was sitting at the table behind us. We were all supposed to be one big group, but the place we were eating was like a tiny Korean barbecue place, and they didn't have room for one giant table like that.
Oh man, that would have been le piece de resistance.
Yeah. But it was a really great meal. The food was good. The company was better. It was a great time. So we leave, and the plan is to meet up with Crush Cards and all the other creators like Nim Nim and Pack and just
a venerable who's who of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right.
Jesus.
Ruggles was there. Dan the cameraman was there. A distant coder showed up because he moved to Toronto, so he's only like an hour away.
He's like, sure, I'll show up.
Right. So we all go out, we hang out after the event. It was amazing, great time. And since we have to leave at 2:30 in the morning to get back to the airport in time for my flight anyway, we just stayed up and hung out, and we left straight from the hangout spot all the way to the Buffalo airport. Border crossing back through is completely empty and clear. We get to the Buffalo airport, and that is the worst security experience I have had yet. Granted, I've only had 2, but the security at the Buffalo airport sucks. Don't fly into Buffalo, or don't fly out of Buffalo. It's terrible. It just sucks.
Life lessons learned.
Yeah, no, they're really eccentric about security at the Buffalo airport. Let's get... Okay, I have 4 minutes. I'm just going to say, it is really something putting your bags through the security scanner at an airport, and they flag your bag, shift it off to the side, separate away from everybody else's, and they go through your bag in front of you in the public view. And you know why they flagged my bag at TSA? Because there were mega tins full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and they're big metal boxes.
So all they saw was just metal boxes. They had to check them out.
Yeah, so they open my bag, and the dude looks at me and goes, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Yu-Gi-Oh cards." He's like, "Why do you have so many?" I said, "You're not my wife. What? I left the house to get away from that." I love my wife. That is a joke, I promise. She's very supportive. It was weird, though. And the dude looked at me like a crazy person. I was like, they're Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He's like, why do you have so many? I'm like, because I was just at a tournament all weekend. He said the tournament lasted all weekend. It was a very big tournament. I drove to Niagara Falls for it. Please give me my cards back. Do not do that with them. You're going to damage them. It was an ordeal.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been like, hey, listen, I'll open the tins.
Nah, he can't do that. He's got to do it all, like, himself.
Oh.
Yeah. He's like, there's nothing sharp that's going to stick me or anything like that. I'm like, no, dude, they're Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
It's cardboard.
Yeah, they were very eccentric at the Buffalo airport. At the New Orleans airport, they were like, yeah, whatever, you're whatever. The drug dog didn't stop you. Just go.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Buffalo airport, they're very tight about their security. Trading cards are a problem in the Buffalo airport.
Apparently.
Jeez.
Truth be told, I think it was actually just the metal container.
Didn't stop him in New Orleans.
No, I meant at Buffalo.
I know, but they didn't say anything about it in New Orleans.
They don't care in New Orleans.
Oh my goodness. Anyway. As far as meta implications, Tier Limit's still the best deck.
Yeah.
Sprite actually had the most topping spots, but the winning deck list was Tier Limit. Second place was Tier Limit. First place was Exo Sister. And the reason Exo Sister got first place is because Tier Limit is the best deck.
Listen. I saw on Twitter a picture of, I don't remember who it was, but the Exorcist player that got first is playing him.
Raymond Dye, yeah. Congratulations, by the way, to Raymond Dye.
Yes.
Huge achievement, cannot be understated.
Oh yeah, no. His opponent just went Shifter, and the look.
That was Jesse Cotton.
Yeah.
He got second place at this event.
Yeah.
He lost to Exo Sister.
Yeah, the look. I was like, man, if looks could kill, the person like behind him would have been stabbed.
Yeah,
with the glare. Oh my god.
Full credit to Jesse, by the way. He's an extremely nice person, very down to earth. He is probably, if I had to put money on the best players in the game right now, Jesse's probably number one on my list for best player in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the moment. Really, he's an amazing player.
Oh yeah.
But that picture is hilarious. That picture is gold.
Oh yeah. But and like the kudos to the photographer for being in the right place at the
right
perfect
time.
angle.
Oh, amazing.
Oh my god. But like also Shifter.
All right, we'll go over a little bit today. Give me some cards that you think need to be hit on this ban list. Assuming, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We will do a very short. These cards need to be hit, and then we'll do a very short reaction to the ban list ahead of time in case we get it Thursday.
So okay, so first off, Mystic Mine needs to go. It's
Absolutely.
listen. I'm playing a trap deck that doesn't care. And I still think Mystic Mine is a problem that needs to go.
It does. I think Fairy Tale Snow should go back on the ban section of the list. They tried it out. It was
It's
fun.
awful.
It is. It was very cute to see it come off at first. It's a cool card. I'm done with it. It is no longer fun after seeing it sent off branded fusion and seeing it milled and sent off of tier limit combos. I'm done with it. It can go.
Listen. I've seen a Dragon Link combo that through an Ash will set up this board to where they'll have 2 snow pops.
Well, books. It's a book.
Yeah, thank you. 2 snow effects, and then they'll activate heavenly. They'll activate spheres, which will then give them a third book.
Right.
It's awful. Snow needs to go.
Give me another one.
Okay, so literally before this weekend, I thought Shifter was just kind of cool, but apparently it needs to go.
I'm actually fine with Shifter.
So am I, because like after you put something in grave, it's turned off.
I have a bigger problem with Artifact Scythe.
Oh, definitely. It's not as bad as it was, because now you outside of Drytron, I think you kind of have to, run the Sanctum package, which is a way more fair.
No, you don't. Just run Dagda.
Well, no, because then you have to have a way. Oh, excuse me. Because then you have to have a native way to pop your own.
Christian Hauke, Firebrax, summon TG Wonder Magician, pop. Evil Twins, Kiss a Kill, summon back Evil Twins, Lila, pop. The 2 extremely good decks right now have very consistent ways to do it.
Both, yeah.
And they do it different ways. The problem is not TG Wonder Magician. The problem is not Dagda. The problem is not Evil Twins, Kiss a Kill. The problem is Scythe. It needs to go.
Oh, yeah.
My last card is Curious Lightsworn Dominion. That card is a problem. It can send any card from your deck to the graveyard. It is used in FTKs. It is used in Degeneracy. And when a card is sent from deck to grave, it mills 3.
Which is just putting more stuff in grave.
It's outrageous, and it needs to go. And also, there's no restriction on using it as link material once it's been summoned. So you can use... That's what the winning deck... That's what Jesse got in second place list was doing. He was going into Curious early, summoning another monster... Because a lot of times they let their 2-limit players go to the end of their combo before nibbing them because they don't end on any real interruption, any real negates.
Yeah.
So he would just link up into Appaloosa right there and boom, he's protected from nib and nobody was expecting it because...
Who runs Appaloosa and...
They weren't running Appaloosa before.
Yeah, who runs Appaloosa and you're seeing Havanus and Shiren?
Yeah.
You don't expect an Apple out of nowhere.
It's crazy. Curious is broken. It needs to go. And then as far as reactions, wow, that's crazy. I'm so glad they banned Mystic Mine, right?
Oh yeah, totally. And Scythe, oh my god.
Oh, dude. And Curious, that was a big brain hit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And Snow, it was cool having it back for a couple of formats, but I'm glad it's gone again, honestly.
Oh, what's that? Blaster to 1? Cool.
Dude, Zenmaid 81, I'm so happy.
Oh yeah,
it's so time.
And Hunter's gone, so you don't have to worry about hand rip loops.
Oh yeah, it's a good time to play Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Loops, brother.
Loops, brother. Loops.
No loops for you.
So listen, if Friday comes, this episode goes out,
and that's not the ban list. We're sorry.
And there's no ban list yet. Just ignore that last part. But if there's already been a ban list, you already have your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to today's episode of the Top Cut Podcast. Be sure to check out our affiliate links in the description down below. If you're new to YouTube because you came here from Spotify to see the video version, please subscribe if you enjoyed this. It would truly, truly mean the world to us. If you want to see the video version and you're on Spotify or Apple iTunes,
It'll be on YouTube.
yes, you can find us on YouTube, the Top Cut Podcast, just like you normally would. And we hopefully are going to be doing this regularly. So,
If everything works out.
yes. So, again, a huge thank you to all of our patrons, our sponsors, and everything of that sort. And until next time,
Take care, everybody.
you're supposed to do the segue better. And also, before I forget, a huge thank you to everybody that came up and said hey this weekend. It truly, truly meant the world to me to meet people, to reach out to people, to help out with giving people sleeves and things like that. I love meeting fans. I love meeting people that listen to the podcast and listeners. It
always surprises me every single time it happens.
And it's very, very... my favorite part of the podcast has become the community. And getting to meet the community is the best and most rewarding thing in the world. And I cannot thank each and every single listener enough. Thank you so much. Again, have a great weekend, everyone.
Take care, everybody.